Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will discuss the crown depressions. First of all, we will discuss the fossa. The plural of it is fossae. Fossa is a wide, shallow depression on tooth surface. There is normally a rather large, shallow fossa on the lingual surface of anterior teeth. This is an anterior tooth lingual surface and a large fossa on the lingual surface. You can see this is the lateral incisor, maxillary lateral incisor, and there is a large fossa on the lingual surface. This is the maxillary central incisor, also having large fossa on the lingual surface, large lingual fossa. Whereas this posterior tooth, mandibular molar, is having two or more fossae. You can see this is the fossa. These depressions are the fossa. This is the fossa. This whole depression, this area is the fossae. This whole depressed area, this is the fossa. So, three fossa in the mandibular first molar. Also, in case of maxillary molars, you can see the fossae. Two or more fossae. Now coming to grooves. Groove is defined as a sharp, deep, V-shaped linear depression. A sharp, deep, V-shaped linear depression. This is a groove. A sharp, deep, V-shaped linear depression. This is a groove. Groove is also defined as a shallow linear depression on the surface of a tooth. One of our teachers, Professor Dr. Dilawaz, used to define it as a linear deep depression, commonly triangular in shape. So there are two types of grooves: the developmental groove or primary groove, or supplemental groove or secondary groove. This is developmental groove. The developmental groove is a groove which denotes the joining or merging of the primary parts or lobes of the crown of a tooth. They are showing the merging of the lobes or primary parts of the crowns of the teeth. Here you can see the primary parts or lobes of the crowns merging with each other. the mesiobuccal lobe and distobuccal lobe. These two lobes are merging with each other and are separated by this uh, developmental groove. So these are separated by this developmental groove. So this is the function of this developmental groove. It uh, usually uh, denotes the coalescence of the uh, primary parts or lobes of the crowns of the tooth. The next is the supplemental groove, an auxiliary groove which branches from a developmental groove uh, is called the supplemental groove. It is not related to the junction of primary parts or lobes of the teeth, and it is also not normally as deep as the primary groove. So you can see this is the supplemental groove. It it arises from the developmental groove. So I will show this in tooth model. Here is the tooth model. So this is the premolar tooth. In the center is the central groove. This is the developmental groove. These are also the developmental grooves, but this is the supplemental groove because it is not separating any lobe, and it has arisen from the central groove, and it also does not separate any lobe, and this is the supplemental groove. It has arisen from this central groove. So this is the main central groove, and these are the uh, mediobuccal triangular groove, mesiolingual triangular groove, mesial marginal groove, central groove, distobuccal triangular groove, distolingual triangular groove, distal marginal groove, but this one is the supplemental groove. These are also the supplemental grooves here. These are also the supplemental grooves. So the developmental grooves are those grooves which separates the lobes or primary parts of the crowns of the teeth or tooth parts. So I hope you have understood these grooves. A sulcus. A sulcus is a long depression on the surface of a tooth. A long depression on the surface of a tooth is called sulcus. And a fissure is a very narrow cleft or crevice at the depth of any groove caused by the incomplete fusion of enamel during tooth development. So, an abnormal groove is called fissure. A narrow linear depression present at the depth of a developmental groove. Dental caries begins at the depth of the fissure. So, at this, some pathology occurs at this groove, then it becomes a fissure. So, a narrow linear depression present at the depth of the developmental groove. Dental caries begins at the depth of the fissures. Now coming to pit. A sharp pinpoint depression where the developmental grooves join or terminate is called pit. A pit is found in the deepest portion of a fossa. A sharp pinpoint depression where the developmental grooves join or terminate is called pit. Here the developmental grooves join or terminate. So I hope you have understood the crown depressions.